When we learn about big historical events, it's usually all about dates, politics, and power. But what did something as huge as China's Cultural Revolution actually feel like for the people living through it? In this explainer, we're going to see it through the eyes of a young girl named Geely and watch as her entire world, her family, her home, her whole sense of who she is, starts to completely unravel. All right, let's just start with this one sentence from Geely because it's everything. This isn't just a wish. This is the heart of her struggle. See, she genuinely wants to be a good revolutionary. She believes in it, but her family has been labeled black, enemies of the state, and she loves them. So she's caught in this impossible position, trying to balance these two things that just can't exist together.
For Ji Lee, the revolution didn't just show up one day with a bang. No, it was way more subtle than that. It was like this cold chill that started seeping into her home, slowly turning a place of warmth and laughter into one filled with this constant, quiet fear. And what's so telling is how a child sees all this. It's not about politics for her. It's about the little things. All of a sudden, her parents' friends stop coming over. The house is quiet. Whenever the adults have a serious talk, she and her siblings get sent out of the room. And then there's this weird talk about a picnic, which, as she figures out, is actually a code word for a plan to hide her grandma if they need to.
And this is her grandma talking. This is the sound of that fear. Those drums and gongs out on the street, they're supposed to be sounds of the revolution, of celebration. But for this family, they're a trigger. Every time they hear them, their hearts start pounding, thinking, are they coming for us next? It's a constant state of dread.
And get this one detail just says it all, doesn't it? They had to create a secret signal, like something out of a spy movie. A simple mop on the balcony. If Geely and her grandma were out and saw that mop, they knew it wasn't safe. Don't come home. An everyday object becomes this symbol of life or death. So the pressure is building, but now the threat isn't just outside anymore. It gets so intense that it forces the family to turn on itself, to start destroying their own history before anyone else can.
So to really get this, you got to understand the four olds. This was the official name for the campaign against old customs, culture, habits, and ideas. Basically, anything from the old world was considered dangerous. And suddenly something as innocent as a family photo, with your dad wearing an old-fashioned coat, that's not a memory anymore. That's evidence.
And so Geely walks into the bathroom, and it's filled with this bitter, acrid smoke. Her parents are hunched over the toilet bowl, not putting out a fire, but starting one. They're burning their photo albums, page by page, literally destroying the only proof of their lives, just trying to protect themselves.
And Geely just has to watch as a photo of her dad as a little boy sitting on a camel with her beautiful grandma next to him gets tossed in. She watches the flames eat away at their smiling faces piece by piece. For a kid, this isn't just burning paper. This is a memory, her own story, being turned into ash and flushed away forever.
With her family's past literally going up in flames, that fire, that conflict, it moves inside of Geely. She is now stuck in this awful tug of war between the revolutionary ideas she's learning at school and the deep, real love she has for her own family.
I mean, look at this. It's just so stark. The propaganda she sees in movies says a landlord's wife is this ugly, cruel villain. But then she looks at her grandma, who is a landlord's wife, and she sees the total opposite. She sees a woman who is kind, beautiful, and smart. How can these two things possibly be true at the same time? It just doesn't compute.
Yeah, the official story just doesn't add up, because Geely has all these real, warm memories, playing with her grandma's tiny feet, singing songs together, watching how kind she was to everyone. Her friends all loved her. None of this fits the picture of a so-called class enemy.
And this is where it all comes to a head. Geely's been taught to hate her grandfather, but he's just a name to her, someone she never met. That's easy. But how in the world could she ever hate the grandma she knows, the grandma she loves? This is that terrible moment where political ideology smashes right into a child's love. So after weeks and weeks of this simmering fear, this feeling that something bad is about to happen, well, it happens. The moment the whole family has been dreading finally arrives. The revolution is literally about to break down their door.
And you can just see how everything has been building to this point. First, the secret picnic to get grandma out. Then, burning their own photos. Then her brother gets in a fight at school, getting bullied for his family status. And the final straw? A knife is found in the garbage, and someone falsely blames their family. You can just feel the walls closing in. The raid feels inevitable. Then, late one night, the pounding starts on the door. And listen what they shout. This is a search in passing. How bizarre is that? Such a casual, almost throwaway phrase for what's about to be a violent home invasion. Like wrecking their lives is just some small chore on their to-do list. Huddled upstairs, all Geely and her family can do is listen in pure terror. They hear the sounds from their aunt's apartment downstairs first, that sickening, unmistakable sound of dishes being smashed over and over. It's the sound of chaos climbing the stairs, and it's coming for them. And then they burst in. And this isn't a search, it's pure destruction. They just start tearing the place apart. Drawers are ripped open and dumped out, clothes pulled from wardrobes, everything thrown on the floor. In just minutes, their private little world is turned completely inside out. And Ji, she just sits on her bed, frozen, watching this nightmare happen. And in all this chaos, what her mind latches onto are her personal treasures, the little things that make up her childhood. Her butterfly collection, her candy wrappers, her beads, all just scattered, crumpled, broken. It is the literal destruction of her childhood happening right in front of her eyes. But in all that mess, there was one thing that meant more to her than anything else. And the moment it's found, well, that's the moment that really breaks her heart. Just as Geely tries to quietly save her stamp album, the leader of the Red Guards spots her. She snatches it away, flips through it, and just sneers at her. With a few sharp words, she turns a simple kid's hobby into a political crime. She calls her a xenophile, someone who loves foreign things, as if it's the worst thing you could possibly be. And without even a second thought, the Red Guard tosses the album into a big bag with everything else they're taking. Just like that, it's over. Geely's most prized possession, something she had spent 6 years building, is just gone. Forever. When they finally leave, what's left is a scene of total violation. The home is a wreck. Clothes are gone, furniture is broken, and all of Geely's little treasures, the butterfly, the candy wrappers, they're now just garbage trampled into the floor. The physical mess is a perfect reflection of how their family's sense of safety has been completely shattered. So this leaves us with a really big question, right? Geely's story is about so much more than losing a stamp album. It's about what happens when an ideology barges into a home and tells the kid that the things she loves are bad and the people she loves are the enemy. What does that do to a child's heart? What does that do to their sense of who they are in the world?